Hi, my name's Ellen, and I've been a group fitness instructor for 14 years, and I'm nationally certified by ACE and AFA and have a slew of secondary certifications as well under my belt, and am a director of group fitness too. So I have kind of put together a little list of tips and things that I thought I would share. That they are tips that I believe are things that make you an extraordinary group fitness instructor. And I'm sure that my list is not all inclusive, but hopefully there's something in there for you, something that you can take away. So first on my list is to be prepared, to know your stuff, to show up ready. So that might mean that you spend extra time memorizing your choreography, and that's really the work. I mean, I don't know about you as an instructor, but I sure feel like when I'm there teaching, that's the fun part. That's part of the pay. That's part of the benefit. The work is what I do at home behind the scenes, the memorization and the pen to paper and that stuff. So be prepared. It shows, and the more prepared you are, the way better you can engage with your class, because you're not thinking like, oh, what's next? What's coming next? What's coming next? You know what's coming next. You know it in your sleep. So you're able to think about each person when you look out at the room. So be on time. I mean, I'm always 15 minutes early. If I'm not, I feel really late. I use that. I feel like I grow my classes. So much of what I do is the 15 minutes before my class starts and 15 to 20 minutes after my class ends. So be really willing to put that skin in the game. And I use that time to listen, because if your class is 50 minutes or an hour or whatever, we're talking so much that it's just nice to turn that around, turn that on its head and be the listener. So that's what I use that time for, is listening and getting to know my participants. Look the part, and by that I don't mean be a size 4 and be a hard body with that's 22 years old. I don't mean that at all. What I mean is represent yourself in a healthy and happy way. Great group fitness instructors come in all shapes and sizes and all different ages. That I know for sure. So, but look the part by being dressed professionally, dressed appropriately for your format. So I teach a variety of formats, and I have a different kind of look for the different classes that I teach. And if I teach back-to-back classes and I'm able to, and there is a day that I am able to do this, I make what I call a costume change between classes, because I have a different look for each class. So if you're teaching cycle, look like a cyclist. I mean, you don't have to like wear a bike helmet in there, but you want to look like a cyclist, you know? And you want to wear cycle shoes, and you want to wear spandexy shorts or pants, not baggy shorts or you know, you get the point. And if you're a Zumba instructor, you know, deck it out head to toe in your Zumba wear. And people should know what format you are representing by what you wear into the club. And on that note, sort of, people should know you're the instructor by how you carry yourself and present yourself, even if you're not standing at the front of the room with the mic on. So you want people to, you know, even if you're like getting a set of dumbbells out of a dumbbell rack, just the way you carry yourself. You want a new person to be able to say, oh, that's the instructor. Because look at how she's dressed, and look at how she's relating to people, and look at her energy level, and look at her attire, and that aura of a command presence and professionalism should just kind of radiate from you. So that's kind of what I mean by be prepared, be on time, know your choreography, inside and out, backwards and forwards, and look the part. I recently just took a little continuing ed course from AFA, and they broke down these numbers and said 7%, it was a 7, a 38, and a 55, and they said people judge us 7% by the words that come out of our mouth, 38%, pretty high, by what we look like, by what we look like, and the 55% is like on our body language. So isn't that an amazing, staggering thought? So what we communicate with the way we carry ourselves is huge and speaks louder to people as far as their impressions go than the words that are coming out of our mouth. So I like to remind myself that confidence is attractive, and if 55% of the impression I'm giving off is based on my body language, I want to stand and walk and have a smile on my face that looks confident. And you know, I mean, there are times where you don't feel super confident. I mean, maybe it's a new format to you, or maybe you're a new instructor, or maybe you're teaching at a new facility. There are times where we don't always feel like super confident, but you can still look it and you can still fake it. It's an art form, and it goes a long way. Okay, so one more thought about that before I move on. First impressions are huge. They're so hard to change and get back. So a lot of what you look like, say, your introduction as you start a class, you're giving off your first impression. It's critical. Okay. Sub a lot. So if you're looking to build your class size, one of the best things you can do is sub a lot of different time slots, because you know, one of the best compliments you can receive is if you are subbing a class and then one of the participants comes up to you after and says, well, when do you teach? So that's my number one recommendation to new instructors that want to build a class, is sub. Make participants feel successful. This is huge. I mean, a lot of the people we deal with are deconditioned or first-time exercisers or have never exercised in a group before, and it's our job to make them feel successful, even if they don't make it through the whole class. So we need to manage that on our end. So for example, if I meet someone in a cycle class, before class I tell them, like, hey, even if you just make it 20 minutes, you should feel successful. That is a great first day for you. Then if they like make it 45 minutes or something, they're like, wow, I made it longer than she said. So, and also when you're teaching formats like, I mean, I teach Insanity, and I have people in there that are of so many different ages and fitness levels, and I find it thrilling that my job is to make every single one of them feel successful and to provide modifications that are safe and effective for them. So that's important for our success. Another tip for instructors is be teachable yourself and receive feedback well. And it can be a hard one for us, but if you can get feedback on yourself from someone who cares about how well you do and who knows what they're talking about, hopefully that's your coordinator, receive it well if they come to you and just say, okay. Yeah, let's see. You can videotape yourself. That's one sure way you can spot so many things. I started taping my classes a few years ago, and I noticed so many things on tape, so many annoying things that I said. I noticed a tendency to round my shoulders more than I realized I did. Taping yourself is an incredible way to evaluate yourself, and we tend to say things, have like these little catchphrases that we say too often, or like little annoying traits that we do, like woohoo, woohoo, woohoo. That's one. Or, you know, you'll have to videotape yourself to find what yours is. Mine at one time when I started taping myself was, all right, all right, all right, all right, now we're gonna, all right, now we're gonna. And I didn't even know I was doing that. So videotaping is a good cue. Be careful not to include any members in your videos unless they specifically have said that that's okay with them. Take classes from other group fitness instructors. I vehemently believe that we can learn something from everyone. From every instructor, we have something to learn, and it just gets us out of our little box and tunnel vision, and it's one of the best things we can do. Take classes from other instructors. Correct form, something that was hard for me when I started teaching, but with practice it gets easier, and you have to be careful not to put your hands on people, not to touch them unless you ask permission. But correcting form is really important to be a great instructor. In fact, your veterans in your class will know when new people are there, and they have such good, your veterans have such good form that they know what bad form looks like, and so if you aren't correcting form, they know it. They see that you're not doing your job. So that's just part of our job too, is helping people exercise safely, and most people receive it well. Most participants are very thankful for it. It's not about us. It's not about our workout. So if we need to tone it down to teach to the 80% of the room, then we need to tone it down to teach to 80% of the room. If we need to get off of our bike or walk out away from the front of the room to coach a little and work from other angles and get in front of different participants and coach them, that's what we need to do to be great. We get our workouts on our own time. Learn people's names. That's huge, and I use little mnemonic devices to help me with that. I put a notepad app in my smartphone, so right after class, right after I learn the 2 or 3 new people's names that come, I put it in my phone in my notepad app. And you could write it on paper, but it's just it's huge deal to know people's names, because it literally says I care about you. If you don't know their name, it doesn't make them feel like you care about them. So that's huge. Some people are like so blown away that they come back for the second time and I remember their name a week later. They just, I can't believe you remember my name. It makes them feel so special. That is more important than skipping a beat or forgetting what comes next for a second, is making those connections. Let's see. Just on that note of having pride and knowing your class, and you kind of instructors that are great tend to end up with followings, little group that follow them from class to class to class, and just my own little opinion on this is I don't think it's very cool to refer to them as my people or your, like you own them. I don't think that's ideal. Even if they follow you to every class, they're not your people. They can go any class they want. Sorry, that was kind of out of left field. Let's see. Forward face as often as possible. So there are some times where it is appropriate to turn your back to the class if you have mirrors, or to go to the side of the room, but as often as possible, as much as possible, and as much as your format allows, forward face them, because eye contact straight into their eyes is so much more special than through a mirror. Protect your trademark. If you are teaching PIO, Turbo Kick, Insanity, Zumba, protect it. Pay your dues. Don't share music. Don't share music. Pay your dues for your program, body pump, whatever it is. Protect the integrity of that brand. Dress the part, look the part, own it, and be careful with the language you use. So if, for example, if your certification isn't Johnny G Spinning, we can't call our class Spinning because that's a trademark name. If you took a Zumba certification and you didn't sign up for Zen and your Zumba certification expires, don't call your class Zumba anymore, because that's not ethical. Call it dance, whatever. So that's all on that note. That comes back around, you know, do it right, have integrity, it comes back your way. Oh, as far as those trademarks go, like Beachbody's trademarks, and I know Zumba does this, stay current on the website, like update it, put on there when you teach and at what clubs you teach so that people can find you. Stay current on your primary. Have a primary group fitness certification. If you are, unless you have a higher degree in a fitness related field, you need to have a primary group fitness certification if you want to be a group fitness professional. And then those other things are secondaries. Those other wonderful certifications that we know and love fall under that umbrella. But, you know, be legit. Be legit. Veterans, look out! That's one of my points. So what I mean by that is, like, it's easy for those of us that have been teaching for a really long time to just, like, get complacent, you know, and, you know, just sort of get apathetic because we know we're good and we know people like us, and we just stay in a rut and we stop taking other people's classes, and maybe we get lazy about learning people's names. And my point here is look out, vets, because there's always newbies coming up along with Blue Flame. You know, Blue Flame is the part of the fire that burns the hottest. And there's always a crop of young blood, new instructors with Blue Flame, and they're not apathetic. And they're coming up on our heels. So just my challenge to us vets who've been teaching for a long time, stay fresh, stay on it, stay passionate, do what it takes. Maybe you need to teach less classes to not be burned out. Maybe you need to change your music more often to not be burned out. But keep that fire blue. Keep it hot. Let's see. Use your voice. This is so fundamental. Use your voice well. Modulate your voice. So when teaching, we want our voice, well, first of all, the tendency is to with adrenaline, to raise the pitch of our voice, and that annoys people's ears. So for most of us, we have to teach from a lower register in our voice, and I had to learn to do that because I was irritating people with my high-pitched voice. But then beyond that, once you've lowered your register in your voice, modulate your voice so that sometimes you are yelling and sometimes you are soft in your voice, and then it's all over the whole spectrum, because that's drama, that's exciting, that keeps them interested in hearing what you have to say. It's the opposite of monotone. And people get bored when they exercise. Come on, let's be real. You know, us modulating our voice is a huge weapon in combating their boredom. I like to mirror the intensity of the music I'm listening to with my voice. So just like music has highs and lows, and often like the chorus is powerful, that's when I'll bring out my powerful voice and then drop it off maybe when the song changes. So use social media well, and I mean a couple things by that. Represent a happy, healthy person on your Facebook. So I might have a bad day, I might get a migraine, I might get in an argument with my spouse. You will never, ever read about it on Facebook. No way. No way. I'm representing myself as someone who's healthy and happy. That's the image and that I want to portray, and that attracts people to my class, you know? So, and then shy away from, you know, politics and stuff like that on social media. And you can use it really well. Take pictures of your classes if they give permission. Take pictures of them having a ball. And learn to use little applications on your mobile device that make photos look even better, you know, like Instagram. And there's a whole bunch of different apps. And you know, show the world that group fitness is fun and your class is the place to be. And if they weren't there, they certainly missed out on the fun that was going on in that photo. Okay. And just on that line, people are watching. People watch us. People are interested. They think we're like rock stars and movie stars and doctors because we wear a microphone. They're interested in us. We're sort of in the public eye, so they watch you everywhere. They watch you on social media. They watch you walk to your car. They watch the way you interact with your children when you get them out of the child care. So just be aware of that. Okay, moving on. If you're fielding a complaint about one of your fellow instructors or coworkers from a member, it's really important how you handle that. We want to, we never want to agree with the complainant about our coworker. Even if we agree, we don't want to agree. What I do is I listen so that the member feels heard, and if you're not the coordinator, you point them to the direction, of if it's a valid complaint that the coordinator needs to hear, that would make that instructor better, that it's constructive, it should be passed along. And you can direct them that way, but the main thing is point out something really positive about that person. So, like, let's say they get a complaint about that their voice is irritating. Point out something about, you know what, that instructor, though, they sure put so much time and thought. They sure do plan great classes, or they sure do whatever it is. They point out something that is special about that instructor. So it makes you look good. It actually makes you look good if you're not bashing your coworkers. Okay, let's see. I mentioned this a little bit earlier, but script and plan a great introduction. Like, I think about it. I think about my introduction all the time. Often there's announcements to be given at a club, so you would incorporate that into your introduction, but, I think about it on my way to the gym. I have my class already planned, so on the way to the gym I think about how am I going to introduce myself. I don't talk about myself. I don't talk about myself when I'm teaching. They don't need to know about my personal life. They just don't. And unless it's like a super funny kid story, they don't need to know, and they certainly never need to hear me complain. On that note too, sometimes if I have a class that I've been teaching for years, I actually am friends with everybody in the room. And so I still introduce myself. I still say, hi, welcome to Psycho, my name's Ellen. And they're all like, hi, Ellen, because they know me. But I'm still saying, with my introduction and introducing my name and everything, I'm still making the statement that, yeah, we're friends, and yeah, I've been teaching you for 10 years, but right now, for this hour, I'm the professional. You're the participant. I'm the lead. And so introductions are so important. Let's see. Oh, if you teach multiple classes in a day, they don't need to know that either. I mean, maybe they do know that because it's on your schedule, but you do not need to mention that. One of the worst things you can do is be like, I'm so tired, this is my third class today, because you're basically advertising that they're getting your leftovers and that you're tired. And it also says to them, like, maybe their A game is showing up for one class. It makes them feel like, oh, maybe I should be working out 3 hours a day. So no, don't talk about that. If you work for other clubs, never bring that up. It's not professional. Don't talk about other companies you work for while you're working for one. I guess that goes without saying, but maybe not. They don't need to know if you're not feeling well. So if you have a tummy ache or headache, they don't need to know, because again it's complaining, which is not attractive, but also it just suggests that they're not going to get a good workout from you. So they don't need to know if you get injured, unless unless, I mean, it is okay, like let's say you have an injury and you can coach your format through an injury. I have done that, and great instructors have done that, and that's absolutely appropriate. But like if you get hurt during a class or whatever, they don't need to know about that. It kind of suggests that your class is not safe. It kind of suggests, again, that they're not going to get your best effort. Okay, so here's how I'm going to wrap up this video. I'm sure I left out some good teaching tips, and you're welcome to post them in comments for me. This is how I want to leave it. That a great instructor walks into a room, walks into a class with not a "here I am" attitude, but a "there you are" attitude. So take that with you. I hope that's helpful. If you have any questions, type them in the comments, or if you have anything to add that I forgot, type it in the comments. Thanks for watching. Hey, we change the world with what we do. So hats off to you in your labor of love that is group fitness.